Welcome to the Turo Graduate School of Technology workshop. Today, we're featuring Professor Slava Kaitov, a distinguished faculty member in the Web and Application Development program. In this workshop, he will teach you how to build a website using artificial intelligence.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for your kind words. So that's so great we got together today. But let's see how we can interact with the newest and most modern technologies that they throw at us and how to make them effective, how not to walk into the future with our backs, right? So we need to face the future, we need to see what we can do with different tools such as artificial intelligence, for example. And today, let's take a look at how it can help us in the web development, the design of the websites, and where it excels and where it fails, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build a simple website right in front of you, and it's not a recording, and I don't have anything prepared in advance because I want to do everything from scratch right in front of you to see how well or how poorly the AI actually operates in this respect. And the most important thing to remember is that technology does not replace people. As I said before, it needs to be taken care of in many ways. It can do a very good job for us, but it's not perfect job. So for example, when we write the codes, let's say in HTML, then we can ask an AI to do it for us, but it's going to make mistakes, and we still need to know coding. So the AI will not replace me as a programmer tonight. It will never replace me or you as a programmer or a web designer. It's just going to make our job a little bit easier, a little bit more fun. It's going to make you more productive. It's going to make some tasks easier and faster for you to do. So it saves time, and it does replace certain deficiencies. For example, I'm probably a good programmer, but I'm not really good at designing a nice looking websites. Like a visual design is not my thing, but in this respect, AI is going to replace me. So it's going to create very nice designs that I would probably not be able to do myself. Let's see. So in order to start, right, so we need an idea topic, right? So, and I decided to build a Burger Hut website for the imaginary company called Burger Hut. And let's say they ask me to build the website for them. And of course, I have a bunch of interviews going on, and we will figure out what they need, and we will come back to the table again and again, discuss things. But I'm going to start building it in front of you. So let's say all this, what we call pre-production phase, is over, and now we are in a production phase, and that's where I'm going to employ AI a little bit in the pre-production phase as well, but mostly in the production phase. So the website for Burger Hut, and to do it efficiently, I need to have something in advance on my computer. So let me share my screen and show you. All right, so the first thing we need to choose AI system for website building, and I decided to go with the ChatGPT. So you notice that I'm not using any advanced ChatGPT, any paid version of ChatGPT. It's a simple, free version available to me, and I'm going to use that. I'm pretty sure if I use something more advanced or I pay for the service, I'll get even better results. The next thing I need is, which is optional, but I highly recommend, is a software called Notepad++. It's just going to make my life a little bit easier. So the Notepad++ can be downloaded. You can Google it and download Notepad++ on your computer, install it. It's very easy, it's free. Yes, you can build your website using the regular Notepad on a Windows computer, but Notepad++ has a lot of advantages, and we're going to use that. All right, so I also going to use an AI image generator because I want my website to be visually attractive, and I don't necessarily want to pay money to photographers or go and take my own pictures. I can, employ the AI system. I'm going to use a different one. The one that I'm going to use is called Deep AI text to image generator. It can do certain things for free, and that's good enough for me for our purposes. You can use other text to image generators. You can use Canvas system, not to be confused with Canvas. Okay, so the Canva text to image also has text to image generator, but I actually like the deep AI a little bit more. So in other words, we're going to use two AI systems today. One to build the websites, to write the code, and the second one to provide me with the visuals. And I have a Notepad application to make things easier. So the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to create two files on my computer in a Notepad++. The first file is going to be called index. I want it to have an HTML format or HTML extension. So in a file type dropdown, I will scroll and look for hypertext markup language or HTML. And I also want to save that file in a separate folder. So basically all the files that I'm going to use in my website building activity, I'm going to save in one folder. That's the best way to manage all your assets, as we call it. So let me call it, say, Burger Hut with AI. Okay, and I'm going to save my index.html file in there. So this file will contain the code for the website. And I'm going to create another one. And I'm going to call it, I'm going to save it right away. I'm going to call it styles, STYLIES, styles.css. CSS stands for cascading sheets. And instead of typing the extension, I will also pick it up from here. It might take you some time to find that type, but it's right here. Cascade or cascading style sheets, CSS. I'm going to save that file in the same folder. And now my Notepad actually has both files opened. I can switch between them here. Both of them are still empty. So the style.css will drive the design, how the website looks like, how visually attractive it's going to be, this design theme, basically the look and feel of it. While index.html will contain a dry code for the web page. Basically, you think about index file as a content and styles file as the design. And we will see the difference, what happens when you don't apply styles. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and I'm going to ask it to start building a website. So the first thing I'm going to ask is to give me a structure, which is not a code, but just a short description of every element, every page of the website. Now, when I ask ChatGPT or when I ask the AI system something, it's called prompting. And prompting is very important. It becomes its own profession, by the way. It's the way you talk to the AI system. So it's believed that the best way to talk to ChatGPT is to offer it to play a certain role. Okay, and that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to type here, I want you to act as a skilled web developer. Okay, so I'm telling ChatGPT that now at this point and during that session with me, you are going to be a web developer. So this way we get the best results, by the way. Next, okay, I want to create a website for a burger hut. Give me a structure of a creative landing page. Okay, so you feel free to say it differently. It's up to you, but let's see what's going to happen. All right, so it will be like a flat design of one single page that we can roll down, but it's going to contain sections, right? And it, as you can see, it already started building sections for me. Locations, footer, order online, testimonials, how it works, special offers, signature burger showcase, about us, and hero section. So you can think about hero section as the title page of the website. We can also add a header section. You see, the thing is that everything depends on the code that is going to generate. Sometimes it keeps hero section by itself. Sometimes it makes hero section a header section. All right. Sometimes it creates header section right away. I can ask to add the header section, but at first I want to see what the code for the hero section is going to be. So right away, I already know that I will have to look at the code that ChatGPT is going to generate and understand what it did. So therefore, I still need to know how to code. All right, so what I can do with this, I can send to my customer and say, look, that's what your website is going to look like. Do you want to remove any of the sections or add any of the sections? So it becomes my basically called external documentation. And I can also use that for my purposes when I start asking ChatGPT to build a specific code for a particular section. So instead of scrolling up and down, I will just copy this and I'll put it in a simple notepad file so that I can actually grab the section names from here. This is just like an additional help for me. Okay. So let's say that my customer or myself approved and confirmed that all the sections are relevant and that's all we want. Okay. So now I'm going to use it as my guideline to build the website with the ChatGPT. So my next thing is to ask, write the code for each section. The first section is called hero section. So I'm going to write here, write HTML and CSS codes for the hero section. And I want my website to have a dark theme. I love black backgrounds and dark backgrounds. And this is my choice. Maybe I need to also consult the customer, the client, to discuss that. But I want the dark theme. So I will say using a dark theme, right? Okay, so it started writing the code for me, believe it or not. If you never seen before how AI system writes codes, here you are. So it wrote a separate code for HTML and for CSS. And it looks like the hero section is actually header section. What is header in our context? The header is the navigation menu, right? So, and I see that that ChatGPT built navigation menu inside of the hero section. So one disadvantage of that is that a menu is going to be scrollable. So when I scroll down, that's going to disappear. It's going to be hidden at the top. If that would be created inside of the header section, it would stay on the top. It's going to be, it would be sticky, as we call it. But let's go with whatever we got here. So I'm going to copy the HTML portion of the code, and I'm going to go to my Notepad++ file, make sure that index.html is open, and then paste that code there. So I'm going to save it. It's very important to save. And I'm going to navigate to my folder here on the desktop. And you see it already was picked up by my browser. If you wonder which browser I'm using Opera, right? Opera. I love that browser. I use it for my personal browsing, even for my work. I do have, of course, Firefox and Google Chrome installed as alternative backups, but my main browser is Opera. And Opera already recognized that file and it's ready to open it up. So I'm going to double click and open. And here we go, right? Here's my page. Here's my first page with the menus, right? And other links. And you might say, oh, that's so 1986, right? So who writes pages like that? Well, the thing is that you're right. We did not apply any style, so that looks boring, right? And looks outdated. So let me go back to my ChatGPT and scroll down and now copy the styles code. Okay, great. So I'm going to copy the CSS and I'm going to go back to my Notepad++, and I have to switch to styles page. Don't forget to do that. So, and I'm going to insert the code over here, right? So now I'm going to save it and go back to my Opera browser and refresh. Okay, so that's the same thing, but the styles were applied, and you see it looks so much better now, right? Let's go to Google Chrome. And here you go. That's how it looks in Google Chrome. You see, it's still the same code that comes from the index.html, but look how much better it is. I have a logo on the left. I have my menus on the right. I have like the main slogan here in the center. My buttons got design, and my buttons are dynamic, because when I move my mouse over the view menu, it changes from black to white. Order now is from the brighter red, it becomes darker red. So much better. We can still improve it, and we will, but as you can see, the styles makes all the visual difference, right? Now, sometimes it doesn't do a good job. So I can tell you, yesterday I was testing this, and 2 times a ChatGPT was missing an important line, so that my styles have not been applied to my index file. And I will show you the line that was missing. Okay, this line over here, link rel style sheets, and then the address where to go to get the styles from the file. And you see, this path is not absolute path. It doesn't say go to C drive, go to the user desktop, go to the folder, because as long as all the files and assets are in the same folder, then you just need to provide the name of the file. So that line was missing. And if I didn't know how to code, first of all, I wouldn't recognize the problem. And second, I would not be able to write it by hand, which I did yesterday, right? So again, just to prove my point that you still need to know coding. You cannot just rely on this on the system. It will make a lot of it already made other mistakes, and I know what they are. I already see them. I'm going to show it to you when appropriate. But just I can't stress that point enough, right? Don't even think it's going to replace or substitute you as a programmer. Okay, so good. At least at this point, it did a good job so far. And I'm going to start building the next one. And the next one, we will not build the whole thing, of course, but we will build a couple of more pages. Okay, so, and this time I want to build, let's say, signature burger showcase, right? So I'm going to say, okay, I will just copy the same command, the same request like I did before. Write HTML and CSS codes for the, and now I'm going to replace hero with that new section, right? So I'm going to ask, and instead of hero, I'm going to insert what was the name of it? Signature burger showcase. So write HTML and CSS codes for the signature burger showcase section using the dark theme. And let's wait for the HTML and CSS codes to be generated for us. Okay, so HTML is ready. I can copy that. Make sure I'm in index.html. And the question now is, where do I put it, right? Well, HTML, index, and styles, there are different places you're going to put it. In index HTML, you're going to make sure you put it right before the closing statements for the body and HTML. In other words, this body closing and HTML closing statements will be pushed down and down and down and down as we add new sections. So I'm going to put that over here and make sure, scroll down, I'll make sure that the closing body and closing HTML are at the very bottom. I'm going to click save. It's important. And I switch back to my page and I will refresh the page, right? And here we go, signature burgers, okay, is created for me, but again, doesn't look good, doesn't look good. So I will switch back to my ChatGPT, copy my CSS section, back to Notepad++, go to styles, and in styles, you are going to simply place it at the very bottom of the previous code. Save it. And let's refresh our page. Look at this, right? So I'm surprised that it even created a picture for me. I didn't ask it. It never, ever happened before. But it did such a good job today for you guys that even generated the image for me, which is a complete surprise to me at this point. Look, when I move my mouse, okay, let's do the Google Chrome, right? Here's your Google Chrome. And as you can see, as I move my mouse through those tiles, right, they are animated, they go up and down, and there is a shading behind them that also appears when I hover my mouse over it. Again, I didn't have to spend my time on doing that. Well, if something is not working, for example, the two pictures are missing. The first tile and the third tile have no pictures. So I will have to add them myself. Well, I need to understand the code. All right, so we have Prasantia raised hand. Okay, so yeah.
So Salva, I have a question. So do we need to have the ChatGPT Plus for this, or just the chat
No. I told you in the beginning that I'm using
basic
basic,
free
yeah, and that's the whole thing, guys. I want to use everything free and everything
free?
basic. So I'm using basic Chat GPT free version. Yes, free version of Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the free version of the Deep AI. I'm using the free version of the Notepad++, and I can
Okay.
still deliver, right, some
Okay.
pretty nice sites. Yeah, good question.
Yeah. And also, just curious, I think you are using only the front end code. Can we also create a backend code using the ChatGPT?
Yes, yes,
Okay. Okay.
absolutely. I can tell you, I'm also teaching a Python class,
Mm-hmm.
and we sometimes employ ChatGPT to generate the code for us for the
Oh.
class. And we have fun because it makes mistakes, and we
Mm.
have to troubleshoot or debug, as we say in the programming. Yeah, absolutely.
I see. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, thank you for your questions. So yeah, I have questions in the chat also, so let me address those questions. So is it pointing to somewhere online, the image? So that's the question. That image over here, that burger, so where it's coming from? Yes, it's pointing at something online. And if it's a copyright issue, I can remove it and replace with my image or the copyright-free image or the image I paid for or with the AI-generated image. So again, Spear is asking a good question because it leads me to the same point again. I need to understand the code in order to do all that. So some of your questions I will not address because other people have better people here to do that. For example, will the recording be sent? I guess so. So we can ask the department. And the same question about if this class is offered an advanced certificate, AI certification. So someone will answer that question for sure. All right, so you actually, Spirit brought me to the nice, interesting point. So let's investigate the code and see. And basically, let's pretend that it's a copyrighted image and we don't want it here, right? So let me go back to my files, and I assume it's inside of the index file. Well, yes, you see, but I know that Unsplash has a lot of royalty-free or copyright-free images. So if I just go to that website, this one will work. And because that's the second one, let's see. Yeah. Again, if you see, it doesn't have any copyright information, but if we go to unsplash.com, okay, unsplash.com. All right, so we can find, let's say, burger. Let's see if we click on any image available for hire. That's and the download. Well, yeah, that's the problem. Like I don't really want to deal with that stuff. I don't want to figure out what they want. Of course, the Unsplash is gonna give me a license like free. Let's say I can switch. License filter, so I can switch to free. And hopefully these are the free images. I can use them hopefully. But again, it's so easy to do it with the AI that I don't want to bother. And I will simply replace the code, right, with the image. So let's build another section and we're going to come back here. Yes, someone raised hand, Begum.
Hi, thank you so much for this session. My name is Fida. I used AI to create a website. So it looks good, but then I want to make some changes. So my question is, if I make some changes, will it mess up everything or is that okay? Because AI has generated that for me.
Oh no, it's absolutely okay. As long as you understand the code and what you're doing, AI is given to me in a plain text format, so it's not gonna mess up anything unless you don't know what you're doing. So it doesn't really matter how that was generated by hand or with the AI. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do right now, actually. So the AI generated that in front of you, and I'm not happy with some stuff here. I'm not happy with this photograph. I can't figure out if it's copyrighted or not, and the other two don't work. So I will modify that, right? And you will see that it's still gonna work. Good question. So let's take care of that section first. So again, we have this, and by the way, we want a background here as well. We will do it later. So let me take care of those three images here. So first of all, we have the names, right? Classic Hot, BB, Barbecue Crunch, Spicy Blaze. I'm going to use these names for my deep AI image generator. So I go to the deep AI image generator, and I say burger. Actually, I'll say the Spicy Blaze burger. I will specify that I need a standard quality. I'm not crazy about the HD, and I want a specific shape. My tiles are kind of rectangular, so I will choose this shape here. I'll say generate. Right? So I'm going to download that. I'm going to give it a name. Spicy Blaze Burger. I don't like a four-letter extension, JPG. And I'll just double click to make sure it works, it opens. And now I'm gonna also copy that image into the same folder. So I'm going to cut. And I'm going to place it here. So I need to copy the name because now what I'm going to do, I'm gonna go back to my code. And over here where it says the Spicy Blaze and the image doesn't work. So I'm gonna replace with my image. I'm gonna save it, go back, refresh, and here it is. Okay, so let's go to Chrome. Now let's do Chrome. Here we go. Right, so I don't need to deal with the other with somebody else photographs. AI does it for me for free. Okay,
Is it responsive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Customize, add order. It doesn't take you anywhere, but it will if you program them. But it's ready. You see the buttons are clickable. When I point my mouse over the button, it's active, it's dynamic, and it changes to the pointing right hand. So they already, everything is done for you to program them to a link to go somewhere. So all by ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here and I will say that now I want classic hot burger. And I'm going to download it. Same thing. Classic hot burger. Type in the name. And I'm gonna cut it because I want to put it into my folder here. And now I'm ready to update my my code, right? So classic hot. Save it. Let's go back. Let's update. That's it. That questionable image is gone. I have my AI generated image, and let's see the Chrome, and it does it here as well. All right, so I'm going to do the last one, barbecue crunch, and we will move on, right? So I want barbecue crunch burger. Okay. Same thing, rename it. File because I will need it later. And I will move it from here into my folder. And now I'm gonna update the code, right? Save it and update. So I have that, and again, going to Google Chrome, same thing, same thing. So what else I want to do? I want my menus to work because right now I don't know if they're working. So when I click on menu, order, contact, nothing works. So that's the mistake I was talking about. I already spotted the mistake. It's not completely a mistake technically because there were no pages created yet except the hero section. So I didn't know where to point those links. So it created the empty links, and I'm going to fix it now. Okay, so the question is why we add information on a notepad, not Microsoft Word. Well, unfortunately, Microsoft Word creates a lot of different characters, hidden formatting characters that HTML is not going, the website will not understand. We need something called plain text. Plain text. And the plain text can be done by the regular Notepad software like this one. But it's not fun to work with that because a Notepad++ is giving me color codings for the functions, for the parameters, for the values, and it does other things. It does the files in a tab. So, but on the fundamental level, it keeps everything in a plain text, and that's what HTML coding is. It's a plain text format. So Microsoft Word is not going to give it to you. I can give you a quick example right now that if I copy this, not from here, let me try to do it with Microsoft Word. I'm going to copy this HTML code and put it in Microsoft Word. Right? And now I'm going to show you hidden characters. So what you see here is a complete disaster because this character over here is not going to be interpreted. These are hidden characters. You don't see them. But Microsoft inserts them for the Word file to work correctly. So those hidden formatting characters will make it unusable for HTML. The websites will not understand this. So this is bad character for HTML. These are the spaces, 4 spaces, 2 spaces. All these are like a space with a hard, it's called hard return. All of them are not interpreted by HTML, and they're necessary for Microsoft Word to work, but they are not going to be interpreted properly by the browser. That's why we don't use Microsoft Word. We use a plain text editor, such as Notepad or Notepad++. And there are other inconveniences as well. Like I can do tabbed navigation in Word and so on and so on. So the Word adds so much extra stuff to your text that it's really not a good idea to write any kind of codes in Microsoft Word. Okay, so we need, in other words, the simple answer that you can remember, you need a plain text editor. A plain, and Word is not a plain, it's advanced text editor that adds its own stuff. You need a plain text editor such as Notepad or Notepad++. Okay, great questions, actually. So let's go back to here and see what else we can do, right? All right, so let's take care of the background. I want a picture and a background, but I don't want it to clash with my main content, with the text and the buttons. That is called foreground. I don't want background and foreground to clash. So to do that, I will need to create an image and put it into the styles CSS file, not into the index.html file. So let me go back to AI and I'll just ask burger on dark background. That's pretty good. Okay, I might ask it 2-3 times until I'm happy, but for our purposes, it's good enough. So, and I'm gonna call it burger back because it's gonna be a background for my hero page. And again, move it to the same folder where everything else is for our project. And now we're going to open the CSS file and look. So we're gonna, so again, I'm not in HTML, index.html, I'm in style CSS. And I'm scrolling down to the hero section. So it's clearly identified. And one of the parameters in the hero section is called background. So the background can be a lot of different things. It could say just a color, so we have a solid color in the background, or it can say URL. So if it doesn't say URL, then you just, again, you need to know the coding. So you type URL, open parentheses, and then in a single quotes, you will type you will put the name of your background image. And then very important, you're going to add those parameters: center / cover space no dash repeat semicolon. Then it's going to create a background image for you. So that's what I'm going to do in a second. I'll just need to go back to my file explorer and see if that image it's not there. Okay, so doesn't matter. I'm gonna go back to deep AI image. Okay, image generator. Okay, and I'm going to say I want burger on dark background. I want to generate in standard format, and I want to use a long rectangle shape, right? Generate. Okay, that's better. And I'm going to download it, navigate to it, give it a name, right? Burger back. Okay, let's say hero page. JPG. Now let me cut it and place it here. And now I'm going to navigate to CSS file. And over here, I'm going to replace this with remember I call it burger back hero page, right? And save it. Go back to my okay, so basically let me just go back here. Okay, as you can see, here's my background image, right? So remember how it was before, and then that's how it looks like now. Well, we want to go to Chrome, right? And see how it works there. Okay, and that's my Chrome. All right. So we took care of it. So just remember, the background image has to go to CSS file, and the rest of the images are index HTML. And we have little time left. Let me just take care of the menus. So they're not working, and they're not probably necessarily have proper titles. We have home, which is fine, but then we have menu, order, and contact. So let's use that order menu to be linked to the signature burgers page section, right? So to do that, again, we need to understand the coding, right? We need to understand what's written here. So here's my menus: home, menu, order, and contact. So I decided for that order menu will take me there, and that href command will do that for me. But I need to do something here to write the ID of the section it has to go to, and it's missing. But it's not all. Probably the section ID is also missing. So let's see. Here's a signature burger. Here's the section class. It's called burger section, very nice, but it's not going to go by that. We need section ID. So again, I need to know what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to add a command ID equal. I'm going to give it any name I want. We'll say I'll call special burgers. And I just want to call it that way. But now I have to copy this and put it over here. Okay, so, and probably I forgot something and I will troubleshoot it if it doesn't work. So I have to close the code over here. Okay, so in other words, when someone clicks on the order menu, it's going to take us to the special burgers section. And the special burgers section is here identified by the ID command. So that's the section, signature burgers. So let's see if it works. I'm going to refresh the page, click on order, and it takes me there. Again, click on order, takes me there. Okay, and that's how I link the menus to their corresponding sections. Right? So you have contact. I don't like that. I also can rename that and create about me section, right? So let's do that. And so I'm back to my HTML, index HTML file, back to my hero section. So I'm going to rename contact to about us, right? Let's see what's going to happen. I'll save it, go back, refresh. Now it says about us, but it's still not working because there's no even page that's going to be called about us. So I'm going to go back to ChatGPT, guys. So I'm gonna go back to, thank God ChatGPT saved my chats. So I'm back here, and let's see if it actually created about me page, about us in the structure description in the beginning. Yes, it did. So I can ask to generate a code for it, right? So I'm gonna go here and say write HTML and CSS codes for the about us section using a dark theme. Basically, I'm repeating exactly what I'm doing that I did before, but with one new thing. It is about how to modify the menus. Right, so here we go. I'm gonna copy HTML code and throw it here. Remember, it has to go right before the closing statements for the body and HTML itself. Okay, save it, and then let's see if it did. May have created something nasty. It's okay. So you see how mistakes it makes. You see that about burger is right there, and about Burger Hut actually. So we're going to apply CSS, and hopefully it's going to fix that error. If not, we'll have to take care of it later. So back to my ChatGPT, right? Copy the CSS file, the code, sorry, and bring it to the bottom of the CSS file. Save it, and then just refresh. That's right. And here we go. Here we go. Again, just like Spiro said, it actually inserted the image I didn't ask for. So I'm going to replace it, and this time I'll do it better because people probably already tired of seeing burgers. So I want to show them our wonderful location, right? So I'm going to go here and I'm going to ask Burger Hut on a hill. Okay, that's pretty cool. So I'm going to download that. Give it a name. Burger Hut Hill JPG. Move it here. only the entire name, and back to my HTML code. And replace that statement over here. Save it. And now I have this. However, when I click on About Us, it doesn't take me anywhere. It still doesn't take me to that About Burger Hut section because I did not finish that part. So again, back to the top, About Us, back to the bottom, section class is there, section ID is not there. So I'm going to add ID equal and whatever I want about burger. And that's going to be that navigation identifier is going right here. Save. And let's refresh it in Google Chrome. Click on About Us, and it takes me there. If I click on Order, it takes me to the Order section. Okay, so then we can develop menu, we can develop other menus, and maybe menu is not good name, so I can change it to our burgers. And now it says our burgers order and About Us. Okay, so and then we can continue developing. We have to program these buttons. We have to program these buttons over here. But I can tell you that no human can type this that fast and this that fast. Okay. So, and that's where, the AI comes into the play. And let's not forget about the AI image generators that are also wonderful, fast, and keeps you free from all illegal things. Sometimes it does have its own copyright, but it's usually very simple. It doesn't belong to any specific individual they have to deal with. So let me check chat for more questions.
I missed the first part a little bit. Did you start from deep AI?
Okay, so no, I started with the ChatGPT. The deep AI I am only using for images, to generate images for me.
Okay,
right?
so when you went to ChatGPT, so what was the first part you asked ChatGPT to do for you?
Okay, so the first part I asked was to give me the structure. Like, this is the first thing I did, right? So my first question was, okay, so first of all, I asked ChatGPT to be a web developer. So this is the best way you can talk to AI systems. You tell them, you give them the idea who you want them to be at that moment. So you say, I want you to act as a skilled web developer, right? I want to create a website for Burger Hut. Give me structure, just the documentation, just the structure. So it wrote that structure for me.
Okay.
The name, then the name of each section, what each section is going to contain, and so on and so on. So this is a good reference point for me, because then I will start asking to write me the codes for each section. For example, there is a hero section here. Then I'm asking ChatGPT to write HTML and CSS codes for the hero section. And then it writes the HTML code for hero section and separately CSS code for hero section, because I need to place them into the different files. The
Okay.
HTML code goes to index HTML, and CSS goes to styles CSS. And then I'm asking ChatGPT for the next section. What was the next section here? The next section was About Us and Signature Burgers Showcase. That's what I did as a second one. So I basically repeated myself. I said, write HTML and CSS code for the signature burgers. And then I said, write HTML CSS codes for About Us section, right? And that's how I got those codes. And but in the very beginning, I actually created two files, index.html and styles CSS. And I placed those files into the same folder. I created a separate folder for that, and I placed index and CSS files into that folder. And every file I'm using in that website, I'm placing to the same folder. That's very important. And that's basically that's the preparatory work. Okay, so and I also showed that I downloaded and installed Notepad++ software, because it's so much better than using the regular Notepad.
Okay.
And that software you can install, just Google it, Notepad++ download. And you download and install that software. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Begum, for your question. Thank you, everyone, again for joining.